Welcome to the Closer's Playbook, a podcast about selling your services as a freelancer. I'm Pete Beber, here with Tyler Poole.
How's it going, Pete?
Going well. Tyler, what are we talking about today?
So we are talking about using feedback in your sales process. We're going to start with where to get feedback. Okay. Then we're going to jump into closing new clients or using feedback to help you sell new clients. And I think we'll wrap up with using feedback to either keep or improve the service that you're giving your current clients.
All right. Yeah. An actual agenda for the podcast.
Whoa.
I don't know how I feel about this, but let's see if we can stick to it.
That, my friends, is what you call an outline.
So, all right, we wanted to start with when to get feedback, or
where to get feedback. And I'll go first on this one. I'll steal your thunder and say business reviews. We've talked about this before, but business reviews is a great time to talk about how you're doing, how the project's going, and hey, anything you'd like to see from us. How's my service been? Have I been hitting your expectations? Business reviews are a great time for this, regardless of how the project is going, good, bad, or somewhere in between.
Yeah, if you go back and listen to the business review episode, I really like to start my business reviews with feedback. And you can seed some questions like, are we still on track? Yep. Am I responding right? If you go back to our last episode where we talked about setting expectations, am I not meeting any of your expectations?
I think that section of the business review episode was worth listening to because it actually surprised me. So go back, find that business review episode. It was phenomenal, and I was surprised with what Pete had brought to the table there. Cool. So
all right,
yeah. So where else?
Well, I think if we think back to just the beginning of your interactions with a customer, right? In last episode, we talked a lot about how do you when do you set expectations? I think when we lose a deal, because it's gonna happen. If you're not losing more deals than you're winning, I want to talk to you because I want to know what your secret is. Yeah. That's everyone's goal, right? But when you lose a deal,
I was going to say, I'll hire you.
When you lose a deal, it doesn't have to be your last interaction. Not everyone's gonna entertain it, but what you could say is, hey, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm trying to always improve my business for the next customer. So I would love to know, where did I miss in the proposal, in the expectations, anywhere? What could I have done? What would you have liked to see different from me? And hey, I've got thick skin. If I don't get the critical feedback, I don't get better. You're not going to have everybody respond to it, but to me, I've responded to a couple people who have said this, like, hey, where did I fall short, right? And a part of it is because I'm a sales guy and I want to help the next sales guy, right?
Sure.
And this is where you can start to, after you get enough feedback at this stage, you can start to recognize maybe some themes. Or you can start to you might start to see like, oh, I've addressed this issue and now it's another issue that's come up. Some of it you can throw out because it's an outlier. Some of it might be BS because they just don't want to tell you what it is. I like to keep asking, what else? What else? What else? And when they're out of what else, it's probably that second to last thing that was the real reason. Right. Or that last one that they had something to say.
It's like that game where, psychiatrist, why?
Right.
Why?
I just don't like why. I like what else.
Yeah, I wouldn't use why either.
Yeah.
But
Chris Voss likes to say, why is almost like we feel like we're in trouble.
It's an attack, yeah.
Because from the time I'm probably going to butcher it. I'm sorry. If Chris Voss ever watches this, I would be thrilled. But hopefully I didn't do too bad here. But from the time we're like a toddler, people are like, why did you do that? You knocked something over. Why'd you do that? Why'd you do it? And so we get this feeling of like, if somebody's asking me why I did something or why, I'm feeling a little bit like defensive right off the bat. Yeah. But what else is different?
Right.
it doesn't give you that same emotion. So I like what else.
Yep.
Whatever works for you.
Right.
So
just not why. Just not why.
So
that doesn't work for anybody.
Yeah. So in a lost proposal,
right.
At the end of it, just, hey, I appreciate the opportunity. Sorry it didn't work out. One just request from you. It's is I really appreciate any critical feedback. Yeah. If it's over email, great. If you're open to a phone call, even better. If not, that's okay. But where did I lose this deal?
Yep.
What could I have done different? And
then the final one, I think, is that on the flip side, if a contract ends, unfortunately, projects don't last forever, and most of them have a run date built into them. So, let's say you do a 6-month client contract and it's over and the work's done. In that last phone call, or maybe in a follow-up email, say, hey, it was wonderful working with you. I would love to know if there was anything you felt I could have done better. I'm always looking to improve. I'm always looking to offer my clients the best service. Yeah. Is there anything you would have liked to see me do differently?
Yeah.
And same thing, you might not get an answer, and you might get the most valuable piece of information that you've ever heard.
Yeah. When you close out a project, I would recommend doing a review at that point. Hey, here's the whole project. You want to leave them with a good taste in their mouth. And at that point you go, hey, I'm always trying to improve.
Mm-hmm. My last different. Sorry about that. No. My last job was, I think at the end I had an exit interview. Same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's a good way to put it.
Same thing.
And that's also a good time. If you go back to the referrals, it's also a good time for referrals.
To get referrals.
One other question you could ask there is, what have some other folks who you've worked with or businesses you've worked with done that you really liked?
There you go. That's a good one.
And that's not even saying like you're being critical of me. What did you like that others did?
Right.
Is just, oh, well, you know what? Like this one vendor we worked with, this one freelancer we worked with, they were great at X.
And I like that question because it allows them to indirectly answer things that you didn't do.
Yeah.
Because instead of them saying, well, you didn't really report well enough or blah, 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 they can say, oh, this last client or this other vendor that I'm working with has these reports that are amazing. They go through XYZ company.
Yeah.
And you can take notes and learn that way. And they don't have to, it's less confrontational for them.
Right. But the whole idea of getting all this feedback is improving your services, right? And because what we want is we want you to win more business, right? And we also want you to be able to charge more. So the more you improve your business, the better the reputation you get, the more referrals you can get, maybe the more renewals on your services you could get. And the more demand that you have as a freelancer, the more you can charge.
So let's switch gears. Let's talk about how you use feedback to improve your sales process.
Yeah. So in that, like when you're asking those questions about feedback in the lost deals, and you're catalog those, write those down, keep a spreadsheet, maybe, right? Look for themes.
Yep.
Same as you're going through on the exit interviews, same as you're going through on the business reviews. Ask, what did I do really well? Right? That you really liked to see. People will often they're more likely to tell you what they really liked because they don't want to give you bad feedback. So do more of that, maybe, right? If enough customers tell you, hey, I really liked this thing that you did, maybe that's even something that you put into your, your pitch or your proposal. Right. So, feedback is something that you want to constantly be cataloging. Where I'm at, we have goals around customer feedback because that's the way that we can add additional services, right? When they say, hey, it would be really great if you guys could do this. Okay, well, if enough customers start to tell us that, it's like, maybe we should do that. Maybe
hint.
Right. Maybe it's not even that I need to learn that thing that they're asking for. Maybe it's I need to go and find somebody who's really good at it. And maybe that's somebody. I think we talked about a little bit about working with others, building your network in a previous episode. I can't remember the title or the number of it, but we can go and look back at it. And that could be a way of saying, like, you might be able to charge for services that they provide, an upcharge over what they have. So you say, oh, you know what? I've added this service. Well, that might just be you bringing on somebody for those types of services when they come on.
And it's something I found that my reporting was severely lacking. And it was a theme that had been brought up by, I think, 4 clients, something like that. So now it costs me a little more money, but I go with the software that I use, the softwares that I use, all have white label reporting options so that I can, without any extra effort on my part, but a little bit more money, but so I can deliver these really nice reports that are put together well, that are easy to read. If you want to get, Google Analytics actually has a really good dashboard that you can set up for clients if you're doing SEO stuff. But shop around for, if this is a feedback that you get, shop around for, something like that is a perfect example of a service that now I can offer and something that I can put in my proposals that I never would have known about if I wasn't listening to feedback.
And now you can show them maybe sample reports to say, hey, this is what you can expect from me from a reporting standpoint. Does this meet your expectations or not?
Right.
And if it doesn't, what are you looking for?
Yep.
So that can help you close more deals. If they start to say, oh, this is good, but if it had X or if it had Y, that would be even better. Well, again, 3-4 clients start to tell you that.
Right.
Now you've got a theme. Maybe we need to add that to the reporting. Maybe it's even just, for the price, we would have expected a little bit faster response time.
Yep.
Okay. Well, can I do that? Or, there's all sorts of things. Ask those questions, and look for the themes. It can help you with your proposal materials. It can help you with your pitch. It can help you to retain more clients. Sometimes a client might give you feedback and you say, oh, I can do that for you. We never talked about it. So I didn't know, but hey, we can add that. And you can go ahead and update your contract or your proposal to say, it now includes this and this is what that costs.
Right. Yeah. And so I think that's a perfect transitions point to using feedback to either keep clients or upsell them or provide better service.
Yeah, in the last episode and our episode about business reviews, we talked about gathering feedback, right? And I like to have regular meetings with my customers to see that, hey, are we on track? Here are the goals that we set out. And are we on track to meet those goals? Anything where we should have accomplished them by now? Have we done it or not? Has anything changed with what you're trying to accomplish with your goals, with your business that we need to know about? If you're not staying on top of what's going on with the business and the feedback, the sooner you get feedback, especially negative feedback, the sooner you can correct and the more likely you are to have a happy client that's going to want to continue to do business with you. Yep. Also, I've had customers tell me, because I tell them, I have a quota on customer feedback, and it's really important to me. I over-index on my customer feedback. I'm at the top of the, but what's a result of that is I've had so many customers say, you ask for feedback, but it's surprising how quickly, we never really expected anything to come from that, but it's surprising how quickly, and quick in this sense might be 12 months.
Sure.
It might be 2 years, but they don't see this from other vendors that they work with. And so they're saying wow, we've actually seen results from the feedback. And so when you can say we have a mechanism to do it, but if you say, hey, this customer on this date said this, and then you start to see those things and you can categorize them and say, this is response time. This is how my invoices look. This is my reporting. This is, you can start to go down and you go, all right, well, hey, look at what I've done. And then you can call that out later and say, hey, I really appreciate your feedback. Based on that, I went ahead and I updated these reports to make sure to include what you had.
Yep.
That's fantastic. Now it's not fun for a customer to have signed a contract with somebody, be disappointed, and then go have to find somebody new to work with. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
If you can make it easy to work with you, they'll love it.
And here's another angle that you can take. Say client A gives you a piece of feedback, and especially if they ask for another service or they ask for maybe in the reporting example, you say, client A comes to you and says, hey, I don't understand your reporting. It's hard to read, yada, yada. You go out and shop and find a better reporting solution. Then you go to your client B, C, D, whoever, and say, hey, I'm trying to update my reporting. It requires a little more time, effort. But here are the benefits, and you sell it to them, and you charge an extra $100 for a month.
I would tweak that a little bit. Before you go out and shop the new tool, ask your other customers, hey, I got some feedback about my reports. Are they meeting your expectations or not? And if they're not, I want to understand where there's a miss.
There you go.
And that way, you might get different feedback from different customers on your reporting or whatever it is. And you can find
the best that
and now you can
suits all of them.
Yeah, and you can look for themes in that and say, hey, great, this is really helpful. I've been thinking about updating my report. I want to make sure that what I go with is going to meet the needs and expectations of my customers. So I just want to let you know my reporting is going to change. It might not be this month, but I'm digging in to update those. So thank you for the feedback.
On it. Yeah, I like that. But I think the key point there is use the feedback that you're getting from clients to help your other clients to provide a better service.
Right, and I think I've seen where a lot of people are afraid to ask for feedback because they don't want to get the negative feedback. But in reality, if you don't know what your customers are unhappy about, you can't fix it, and you're just going to have more unhappy customers or less customers.
Right. Or higher turnover. You're going to have, Yeah.
So use feedback, ask questions, ask often, right? Have times when you go in, if you hear from one customer about it or two customers, maybe you start to ask your other customers, hey, am I meeting your expectations over here or not? Is there anything else that I could, is there something I could do differently? Is there something that another, company or person that you've worked with has done really well? What have I done really well? It's good to get the positive feedback too, because sometimes that conflicts with other customers. Right. If one customer says, I don't like your reporting, but the next 5 say, your reporting's fantastic, I've never seen anything like it. Maybe you don't need to update your reporting. Maybe you just need to change the expectations
with that first
customer.
Right. Yeah. And then I think the last thing is
charging more.
Charging more, yeah. I had something else, but we'll come back to it. Okay. So charging more, let's say you update your reporting. Let's say let's say you add a new feature. Let's say client A says, hey, I would like to see you guys do this. Well, then that's something you can sell. You can incorporate it with client A, and then client B, C, D, you can sell that to them and upsell. We talked in one episode about the easiest sell is a current customer, right?
Yeah.
If you can upsell a couple of your current clients, you don't have to go out and get new clients. You can provide a better service.
Yeah. Customer feedback is what we use where I'm at to develop new features, new capabilities, offer new services, and have happier customers that we keep for a long time. Guessing at what your customers might want is not a great use of your time. Finding out what your customers actually care about, what they want, what would be helpful to them is how you can grow value. And the more valuable you are for your customers, the more you can charge and the more likely you are to have them for the long run.
Yeah. So it's funny that this is the episode we did an outline for, and I forgot a piece of the outline because I was thinking about something else, and then when you started talking, I remembered what I was going to insert. Good. So
get us back
the
on
last
track.
piece. Well, no, we were on track. So the last piece I wanted to enter, and this was actually not on the outline. You were talking about the feedback and how difficult it can be, how it's hard to do. An option now. This is not something I would necessarily recommend for everybody, but if you just can't ask these questions, if you can't get to the point where you can have this difficult conversation, there's plenty of surveys out there, software out there that says, hey, and then you can present it like, hey, my company-wide, we're trying to provide a better service. We are asking our clients to do a survey. would you mind spending 5 minutes and filling this out? And you can set it up so it's done anonymously. It might make it a little easier for the client. It makes it easier for you. It's not always the best option, but it is another option.
So it kind of made me think of Buddy Guy, the blues musician. He's great. If you haven't listened to him before, amazing guitar player, great musician. But I heard a story. Okay. I'm hoping it's true. I don't think I heard it on the internet, so it's maybe more likely to be true. But when he first started out, he had such stage fright that he would turn his back to the audience and play because he was so afraid of what they would, how they would respond to him. And he's an amazing artist. He doesn't have that problem anymore. He got enough reps at it. So start small. Start with one question. If you want to do a survey, start with one or two questions. One question, 2 questions, right? Hey, and set the expectation when you're talking to your customers early. Like, hey, I really like to get feedback. Every once in a while, I'm going to send out a survey. It doesn't say who, if you want it to be anonymous for them, it doesn't say who responded. I send it to all my clients, and it's all like it strips away any identifiable information, right? But it's how I get better for you and the rest of my clients. So I would really appreciate. Would you be against responding to the survey? I really like the Chris Voss go for a no. Right. Would you be against filling out a survey? Right. And most people will be like, no. Right. So if you want to start there, maybe that's all you ever have to do. Mm-hmm. But having that conversation, getting that feedback is really important.
And I think the only reason I brought it up was, it is a way that you can get feedback without, like, there's conversations that as salespeople we have to have, and they aren't easy, like pricing. You have to have that conversation. Yeah. Feedback, you don't necessarily have to have this conversation. There are ways to go about it and still get good feedback without having the difficult conversation. Yeah. So I thought I'd throw it out there.
I think it's a good call out. There's multiple ways that you can get feedback. I think, if you're struggling to ask those questions, that's a good solution.
Cool. All right. You got anything else?
No, I think we could leave it there.
Okay.
Get feedback. And subscribe, wherever you get podcasts. And if you think that somebody you know, a freelancer, would benefit from these episodes or this one in particular, please share it.
Yeah. And if you have any feedback for us, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, we'll figure out how to get that.
Right.
We're working on it.
Comments for now.
Comments.
Emails will be set up sooner or later.
Yeah. So, all right.
That's
till next time.
Till next time. We'll stop rambling. Have a good one, guys.